Going to Kansas City. If I come, I come, I come, I come. I'm going to Kansas.
Welcome everybody to another episode of Choppin It Up with the Cleavers. My name is Emmanuel Cleaver III.
And I'm Emil Cleaver, and as you can see, we have a new set, and we are here for now. We'll see how it goes. This is actually the set of another show that I have called Conversations with the Elders that will be airing on KCTV5, streaming app coming soon, so check for that.
All right, so lots been going on, and I wanted to start with the big arrest, the co-conspirators with Donald Trump trying to steal the election in Georgia. And so of all the people that were arrested, there's one person still behind bars. And can you guess, do you think he's, white or black? Just a random guess.
So there are a bunch of people arrested for this attempted takeover of the government, yeah. And the guy that's left over, I guess his bail, he didn't have any bail, but he's the only one, and he just happens to be an Afro, and I do say Afro-American.
But in all actuality, it's probably not race. It just happens to be black. Because what happened is he didn't make arrangements prior to turning himself in.
That's because every other defendant had money.
Right, you are right.
And had connections and things like that, and he didn't.
Yes,
so,
you are absolutely
right.
So
his involvement with this, I'm trying to figure out how he got involved. And then there's a black woman who was arrested who took a ridiculous looking mugshot. She was happy doing something like that.
For her master.
But she was out. But yeah, this guy Harrison
Floyd.
Harrison Floyd was stuck in prison, and he was asking for help, but he is out now. He raised a bunch of money, and now I believe he's running for an office.
Of course, that's what you do. You do something like that. But what was, he was stuck in jail, couldn't make bond. I think his bail was $100,000.
Yeah.
But all the people that he co-conspired with could have easily helped him to get out, but
multi-millionaires. One of them is supposed to be supposedly a billionaire, but none of them, they could have easily.
Why do you think they didn't though? Because he's head of the Black Voices for Trump. That's the organization that he's a part of.
Right, and we're going to talk about another organization similar to that. But yeah, Black Voices for Trump, he's part of that. And so what I saw that really disturbed me, he was on some talk show doing an interview and saying, I'm going to talk like him now.
Let me see if you can do it. I haven't seen it.
You haven't seen him? You haven't heard him talk?
So supposedly I got my Negro wake-up call.
Oh, yeah, I did.
Yeah, come on.
Because he said, but he said like that's what all black people call it.
Yeah, and just for those people out there that don't know, he's referring to, he said he supposedly got a Negro wake-up call. A Negro wake-up call is when a black person doesn't understand racism exists, and he's maybe around a group of white people and maybe puts other black people down, and one day a white person or a group of white people remind him that he is also a black person. But most black people don't call it a Negro wake-up call. We call it an N-word wake-up call, and what he said is the line was busy or something.
He said, yeah, I did hear.
I got a Negro wake-up call, but the line was busy. Man, come on. He still doesn't have the money to pay for his lawyers. He got the money for bail, but he's still trying to raise money to.
Because he doesn't want a court-appointed attorney, because he can use one of those, or he can try to represent himself.
Because a court-appointed attorney, we know he's going to prison. They don't have enough time. They're spread thin. There's too many cases. They don't have the resources that a big law firm like Trump and his co-defendants are going to take care of, like Rudy Giuliani and his oil leaking hair.
Rudy, man. That's how he's been in his latter years.
Yeah. So yeah,
Caught up in scandals.
there's I mean, I don't know how I feel about a group of people calling themselves Black Voices. What is it? Black Voices for Trump.
Yeah.
I don't know how. I mean, why do you have to be Black Voices and Negroes
They
and
want their leader to know, their deity to know, hey, we're black and we're for you. And so that's why he can say those are my. See, because they said that, he can say that they're my black people.
they are his.
Negroes.
They are his black people.
I know that's why.
But does Joe Biden have a group? Is there a group of blacks that support Joe Biden called Negroes for Joe? I mean, that's a catchy saying.
Negroes for Joe. You want to start?
So I'm starting a new group. We're going to start it here today. Let me announce it. Let me make this announcement. Put the camera on me.
I don't know.
So today, I think we're going to start a new group, Negroes for Joe. No, I don't think we can. I can't even play like that. I don't even like Joe Biden like that.
Yeah. So, but I guess, they just want to show their leader that there are black people. There are 6 or 7 black people. I don't know, but they're really more than that. I mean, a lot of black men.
Yeah.
Seem to.
I think
Trump.
What's his name? Larry Elders. He was on the Breakfast Club and he annihilated them. He annihilated them, man. He made them look bad. Anyway, Larry Elders, I guess he claims that there's 20% that black men that voted for Trump.
That's a high
I don't
number.
know. That's what he claims, something like that, 20%, which is a very, very high number.
It's a high number.
I mean, it's still way less than the majority, but 20% is pretty high.
I can see it, man.
I can too. I can absolutely see it.
A lot of black men like Trump, and because I hear it. I've heard the arguments for him.
They like the way he talks.
Yeah, the way he confronts the system, which brings us to the other group that supports Donald Trump, and their name is a little, they took a page from NWA. So their group, they're the ninjas for Trump.
They are, and this is real. You can look it up. Niggas for Trump. There is a real group, and there's an interview, I guess, at a rally where he's talking, this man, I guess the leader, and who also ran for governor of, I can't remember which state.
New York.
But he ran for governor, and he started this group, Niggas for Trump. And so they want to make sure that Trump knows that
they belong to him.
They do belong to him. And he runs them, and I don't know if he's officially
he doesn't even
there.
talk to them. They think the black people for Trump and this group, they think Trump knows and cares about them.
No, that's where you're wrong. I mean, he doesn't care about them, but he knows about them.
Yeah, I mean, he
what
knows.
was that? What was those 2 black women? Peaches and Herb or whatever. I can't even remember.
Herb, not Peaches.
I can't remember their name, but you know who I took. I think they were Cockroach and Roach and
for Trump. Yeah, he loved
something.
them.
But yeah, one of them passed away recently. But yeah, they had a podcast, an extremely successful podcast. So, and he had them they were on the RNC National Convention. They spoke. So I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if
if he spoke at the Republican.
Harrison Floyd, he probably will.
Yeah,
but
Harrison Floyd, I can see him. But this other dude, because he's black people, he could set us back. He has set us back. But if he gets on a international stage, I mean, you'll be scared.
Well,
to go
I mean,
out of the
it's
house.
more than him because
but him in particular, since he leads this group,
because you can see people
embarrassed to go out of the house for at least 2 weeks.
You can see people in the background they support him, and it's a sad state of black people. I mean, all black people, we can't vote and think the same. That's just facts. But a black person or a black group supporting Republicans, I don't have a problem with that. But Trump is a little different. I mean, I don't see how you can put aside the racist stuff. And people say the same thing about Joe Biden. Joe Biden, you can pull up a history of racist things that he said. So, I mean, we can't act like he's all great and has always been for black people. And, I mean.
I was hearing part of an interview with Styles P. and he
Styles P is a rapper, for those who don't know.
yeah. So he I only heard part of the clip, but he said he preferred, and prefer might not. Yeah, I think he said he preferred Trump's administration over Biden's administration. And then this guy gets on YouTube and slams him. Styles P comes back and responds, basically saying, "I'd rather have the racist that's up front with me than the racist who's hiding behind things." Now, whether you think Joe Biden is a racist or not, there are a lot of people that there are black people who do think he is.
Yes.
But whether you think it or not, I mean, that makes sense. I can understand that.
Yeah, I mean, I think I would rather have that. I mean, I know there are people out there that say Joe Biden isn't a racist, and it's crazy that we're even comparing him to Trump like that. But go look up on the internet. He said a lot of racist things. He didn't want his kids going to school with black people. I mean, he didn't care if they came from bad circumstances. He didn't care. I mean, he says all of this. So
Yeah, I don't know if you can compare it to Trump. I'm not comparing him to Trump. I was sharing what Styles P said about it, and I'm saying I can understand if you believe that that Joe Biden is a racist. Then yeah, I can understand that.
well, I mean, I don't want to compare who's the more racist.
No.
But, you know, it's sad state in America that out of 300 million people, the two most likely people that we're going to vote for, I think most Americans will agree that they are not the most qualified for the job. I mean, you can't tell me Donald Trump and Joe Biden are the two most qualified people to run this country. I mean, it's laughable. Well, they're going to be the ones, they're going to be the last two standing.
But this is not the first time in American history where the two front runners for the presidency are not the most qualified. But
I mean, not the most qualified, I think, is an understatement.
yeah,
I mean, I'm sure there are hundreds of men and women who are better than Trump and Joe Biden. Joe Biden is, I mean, what is he going to be, 98 by the time this is over with? We need term limits. I mean, you're looking to see what happens with Mitch McConnell. I'm talking about in Senate.
Mitch
McConnell,
that's
come
the
on.
thing, man. But I mean, does he have a family that says, "Hey, you
Obviously not.
You did all you can to make sure white men stay in power. It's time to turn it over to somebody else."
His aides, when they were making excuses for him. He needs a minute. I mean, did you watch it when he froze? He needs a minute. Senator, did you hear what they said? I mean, no, he didn't. Go put him in the bed. Get him to rest, man. Let him enjoy his life. I mean, he's done his part. Like you said, he's done his part to uphold white supremacy in America. He has done more than almost anyone in the last half century. I mean, I'm sure the white supremacists are applauding him. Go sit down. There's another white supremacist that wants to take your place.
Younger, fresher.
A younger, fresher one who's not going to freeze. I mean, we don't want to not making fun of or making light of the situation because everyone is going to. Yeah, I mean, it's time to sit down. It's time to sit down. The Democrats too. Dianne Feinstein. I mean, come on. She hasn't even been around in months.
She's what, 90?
Yeah, she's 91, 92. I mean, she hasn't been around. It's time for term limits. There's no way that a 90-year-old, in what other job can you be 90 years old and work there? Could you be let's say the COO of Sprint, not even the top person like Mitch McConnell of T-Mobile, and you had a press conference and you froze like that, and you still think you're gonna work there next week? Come on, no one is. If I was at this job and I'm doing an interview on television and that happens twice, they go, "Hey, you need to sit down, man."
These are leaders within the party. So that you have.
That's what I'm saying.
You know the term. Have you heard the term gerontocracy?
No, I'm guessing that has something to do with geriatrics.
Yeah, a society governed by older people.
Well, I mean, that's America.
I know. That's my point. I just heard that term recently, and read about it. That's what they're starting to call our government, gerontocracy. But older folk who have been through a lot have a lot of wisdom to share.
Conciliary.
Yeah. Advisor. But
Yeah.
regardless, when you start phrasing like that, it's, you know, and it happened twice.
Yeah, it's happened
And
twice.
then he failed. He also failed.
That's what they say started it. He fell and he got a concussion. And there, you know, his aides and people that are making excuses for him are saying, you know, it's normal for someone with a concussion to, you know, have symptoms like this or act like this. And it's true, but, you know, he's 80-some years old. Maybe it's just time to sit down. You know, you have a concussion at 80, that's different than me and you and I having a concussion, or someone in their 20s or 30s having a concussion. You know, it's a lot different. So, you know, sit down. Dianne Feinstein, however you pronounce it, sit down. It's time to go.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you for your service. Yeah, thank you for your service, your parties, your political parties. Thank you. You've done a lot for your causes, but it's time to let a younger, fresher blood group come in, you know. Plus, there's no way you can tell me that a 90-year-old understands what's going on with 20-year-olds and 30-year-olds. They don't understand that. I mean, they can't get that.
It's a different world. But let's transition. So, I mean, I guess you could talk about Florida. I mean, there's always something going on with Florida when you have a governor like DeSantis. You see he pledged $100,000 or a whole bunch of money to Edward Waters, HBCU there in Florida, after the gunman shot, because apparently the gunman who targeted black people in Jacksonville, Florida, was believed to have started his plans, or thought at least, something with Edward Waters College, an HBCU.
Oh yeah, he wasn't. Yeah,
something
like that. Yeah.
DeSantis has pledged money to the college, but then there are several Florida state reps who said, well, DeSantis, you're the one who created the political environment that created this in the first place. So I guess that's a question you could wrestle with, argue. Do you think political climate set tones for things like this to happen?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a movement, because the next thing, aren't they burning books in Florida? I mean, you can't read this book because it talked Tom Sawyer, Huckleberry Finn, and you can't read all of these books. I mean, it's causing an environment, it's building up anger in people. They're saying that this Governor Huckabee in Arkansas is saying that Black history teaches hate. I mean, it teaches hate. So yeah, it's building an environment. You know, it's definitely building an environment. Those places, Florida, Arkansas, Missouri. I mean, these people are mad. They don't want to be taught Black history, and that's why I do what I do. I think what I do is very important right now. I mean, I'm a documentary filmmaker. Done stories on African Americans. I have a series, Conversation with the Elders, interviewing elderly Black African American achievers, telling their stories so they don't die. But yeah, there's people like Ron DeSantis that are trying to kill it. And yeah, it brings up anger. Absolutely brings up anger. I mean, without knowing your history, you're bound to repeat it. So that anger, that Southern anger, is just building, and DeSantis is just lighting the flame for that. Yeah. Black history causes white people to feel sympathetic or whatever. I don't even know the ridiculousness that he says. This good dude could be president.
Yeah, he became president. He could take it back to the days of Andrew Jackson. He could be that bad.
So after the school shooting, they had a press conference. I mean, not the school shooting. It was Aldi's or something like that.
Aldi.
And they had a press conference, and the governor was invited, and a lot of the Florida state representatives, African American ones, there were some white ones there too. They started booing him when he started speaking, saying that it was his fault, that he caused the environment, which I have to agree he did. He stopped talking. I mean, he's such a dull individual.
Yeah, he's pretty far behind in the polls, so it doesn't look like.
Well, he was number 2.
Yeah, but way down number 2. So it doesn't look like anybody right now at this point, this early on, is really going to challenge Trump seriously.
Yeah, that's what I say. There's the 2 most unqualified people are going to be president. What's the senator, the young lady, I shouldn't even say young lady, in the Republican Party. She's slowly creeping up on DeSantis.
Yeah, I don't know her name.
I forgot it. Haley, is it?
Yeah, it might be, but you're supposed to
You're supposed to know. It doesn't matter because you're not voting for her.
I mean, I've heard her talk. She didn't. I can't see giving her any kind of support. So, yeah, her name completely has been erased from my memory. Unless she starts making some real noise, then I'll have to start paying attention to her.
What about
but not just her? Noise. A lot of folk on that stage, that Republican debate, it's hard to listen to. Now the comedian, and I forgot his name.
The comedian.
I can't. Who was he and oh boy, big boy from New Jersey.
Nikki Haley. I was right. It's Haley. Christie.
Yeah, he and Doug Christie. I'm sorry.
Are you talking about that
Christie.
that one guy?
Yeah, I don't know his name.
He's new to the Swarmy or
But yeah, he said
Ramaswamy.
some crazy stuff.
Yeah, he's just all he is just an actor. I mean, he's just like a one of those positive speakers. What is it, like less?
A positive speaker.
Yeah, that's what he is. That's what he reminds me of. Motivational speaker. That's what he reminds me of. This Ramaswamy, whatever you say his name. He reminds me of a motivational speaker. Because look at him. When you look at him, next time he speaks, he's always smiling and he's looking like this. And what I'm going to do, that's how if you look at motivational speakers, that's how they act. He's nothing but a motivational speaker. He says a lot of stuff that a lot of people on his side want to hear. But if you ask him any questions about how government is run, he has no clue. He is clueless. He has no idea how government even operates. None.
So he's saying this as a way to, what you're telling me is he's running for president because he wants more followers on Instagram.
That's basically what he wants. He wants to be, this
dude is, model.
Yeah, he's a joke. When you say comedian, he's not really a comedian, but I don't think he can be taken seriously as president. Not at all. Not at all. And they know he was using Eminem's song "Lose Yourself," and Eminem was like, "Man, stop using my song. It ain't for you." And now he's talking about Eminem used to be a good rapper. Now he's a loser.
Now he is. Since he won't let him
all
use
of a
the
sudden,
song,
now he's a bad rapper.
He can't rap.
And he won't let him use it.
Well, here's the thing about it. This says to me that he really doesn't listen intently to Eminem, because if he did, he would have known that Eminem doesn't support his kind of politics.
Yeah, Eminem is pretty liberal, so I don't even know why. Yeah, I think he thought Eminem was gonna hear what he had to say, and it was like, man, this guy is it, and he's using my song. But it was like, man, this dude is corny, which he is. He's a corny dude. Look at him. He's up there smiling like it's like a commercial. You see those commercials when they're cutting the grass and they're smiling, and I'm sitting there, man, why are you smiling while you cutting the grass? This dude's talking about war.
I've never seen anybody cut the grass smiling.
Look at a commercial.
I know, I've seen it, I know.
That's what I'm saying.
People are sweeping and mopping.
Yeah.
People usually frown.
You can see him on the mopping the floor with that little mop. This is so good.
Picture of me when I'm cutting the grass. Ain't no smiling.
Man, ain't no smiling. This dude is up here. He's the only one smiling like that, man. This dude is so fake. I don't like that dude. I almost dislike him as much as I dislike Trump, just because he's so fake. The fakeness just comes out of him. Man.
Well, we're gonna we'll keep on talking about this race. It's gonna heat up
ain't gonna
real
stop.
soon. I haven't heard any. Have you heard any noise from the Democratic side? Anybody seriously talking about challenging Joe?
Well, Kennedy, but he's not Democrat. He's running. I think he's running as the Green Party, or not the Green Party, Independent, maybe. But what was that Ross Perot was doing? Was he the Independent?
He was, I think, Independent. I forgot what. Yeah. So that's what he's doing.
Yeah, he's doing the Independent one. He has no chance. He may be. Some people are there. The Democrats are saying he's crazy. You go against the Democrats and now he's crazy. But I don't think he's crazy. He just thinks a lot differently than the Democrats do. But yeah, there's no one that has chances. It's going to be Donald Trump and, unfortunately, Donald Trump and Joe Biden. So pick which older guy you want. I think Joe Biden will be 106 by the time his term is over, and Donald Trump will be 94.
Yeah, but even still, he is better than Donald Trump.
Man, Joe
Biden is better than
like,
Donald
I'm
Trump.
not just being serious and not trying to be mean or anything, but in 2 years, how will Joe Biden be? I mean, is he going to be mentally even there? I'm going to guess if Joe Biden wins, by the end, we're going to have our first black woman president, not woman and black person president. She's going to beat 3 different things: first woman, first black, first Indian to be president. Because
Black.
Kamala Harris.
Yeah, we've had a black president.
Oh, first woman, first Indian, and is there something else?
First woman, first Indian woman, first black woman.
Yeah, first black woman. That's what I meant to say. First black woman. That's come on. You know what I meant. So first black woman, 3 different things, because I don't think Joe Biden is going to make it to the end. And I hate to say that.
You think he's going to?
I don't think he's going to die. No, I think in a few years his mistakes are going to be too big, and the Democratic Party are going to tell him to step aside, and they're going to put Kamala Harris in there.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I hope he at least beats Donald Trump.
Yeah, that's what they want.
Yes.
I believe there's people in the Democratic Party that know that he can't make it another 4 years, but they just know he's the only
But he
chance.
hasn't had any episodes. He's fallen and done some things like that.
Well, he makes up words and he says stuff that doesn't make sense, and he says stuff that makes people think that he may be kind of slipping. That's what I mean. He hasn't had any episodes, but sometimes he has trouble out there, and I don't feel embarrassed for him, but he looks bad. So we'll see. I'm still going. I mean, if it's between him and Donald Trump, I guess I'm gonna have to vote for him. I don't have a choice. I'm not gonna vote for Trump, even though with Trump you get more back in your paycheck. When Trump was president, you got more back on your paycheck. They didn't take as much. They took it out of your retirement, but still you got more right now, which is what a lot of people like on their paycheck. So that is one good thing, whether you want to admit it or not, for some people.
Well, either you're against him or you're for him. So you can't point out anything. I'm just saying, it's just how things are today.
Yeah, and that's unfortunate because you vote for Joe Biden and you may have 3 things that you agree with and the rest you don't. But because it's Trump, you don't have anything you agree with. But Joe Biden, maybe you have 3 policies and the rest, you disagree. I mean, you have to pick your poison, basically.
Well, at the end of the day, what's really going to help black and brown people who are oppressed, marginalized, is not going to go through government. It's going to come from the people. I mean, it's going to come from economic empowerment at the end of the day. I mean, we've had political empowerment to a certain degree for decades, and it's helped. It's done what it can do. Although we do need more judges, would help a lot more. But it's going to be economic empowerment. So I remember when Obama first got elected and people thought, things were going to change for black people right away. And here we are.
I don't know why they thought that.
Because they think that, because they were looking for this redemption to come by way of politics, by way of government. And it's not happened. I don't think it will. Think what has happened, is good, and we've made strides. And of course, elected officials can continue to do more to make improvements. But at the end of the day, it's going to be economic empowerment. When you have the capital, you can have a seat at the table. If you can have a seat at the table, then you can request and make way for others who never had opportunities. So that's where the power comes from. Period.
Yeah.
We're gonna move on. Still 50 years of hip hop. So today we're gonna look at top 5 duos, hip hop duos. So these aren't groups. So groups like
Well, they are groups.
I mean, yeah, they're groups, but not. They have only 2 members. So we're putting out no Salt and Pepper. No, it's Salt and Pepper, but they had Spinderella was technically
And no Run DMC.
Run DMC. So
Because
you
technically,
all know.
Jam Master Jay, if Run DMC was in there, they'd be number 1 to me. Because
absolutely.
they set it off.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
because technically Jam Master Jay was part of that group. So, I mean, in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, he was inducted with them. So, yeah, we didn't put them in there. You want to go first?
All right, so my top 5 duos of all time.
This is a tough one.
Yeah, it was. Let me see. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so I'm gonna put at number 5. I'm gonna go with Mobb Deep. Mobb Deep, out of Queens. They did their thing. They came on the scene and they had, I mean, it was sort of a grimy, sort
It
of
wasn't sort of.
somber music. Yeah, I mean, it was
It
grimy.
was grimy
somber,
street music.
But
You
they
know,
did
nice
it.
beats,
Yeah.
nice production, nice
I mean,
production.
yeah, and the beats were kind of eerie. And what did Pastor New said is darker than a Mobb Deep track. Like they're like when the beat came on, you know they're talking about some stuff. They're talking about street life.
And Q-Tip from A Tribe Called Quest mixed the first 2 albums, I believe. They liked his engineering mixing skills, so Havoc, the producer, called him up and was like, "Man, will you mix our stuff?" And he did. So I mean, yeah, Mobb Deep, a good group. Yeah, number 5. So who else you got?
So at number 4, I have UGK.
Okay,
From the South. It's just hard to deny the impact that they've had on hip hop.
No, undeniable, that's for sure.
In the South, they are kings, and they get love on the West Coast and East Coast too. But you know, there's that South music that they did in the '90s and early 2000s.
Yeah, Jay-Z respected him so much. He called him up and asked him to be on one of his biggest songs, Big Pimpin'.
Yep. Absolutely.
Pimp C didn't want to do it. Bun B had to talk him into it. He was like, but Jay-Z's that's not the kind of music we do. Bun B was like, man, but that's Jay-Z, so we got to do it. The rest is history.
It was a classic.
It was a classic.
So I got to give it up to UGK. Number 3, Eric B. and Rakim. The DJ, Eric B., the God MC, Rakim, put out some classics. Follow the Leader, Paid in Full, Don't Sweat the Techniques, are the 3 albums that they put out. And I mean, they changed the face of hip hop, especially Rakim with the way he rapped, his flow, changed hip hop. Number 2, and this was a tough one, 2 and 1. I went back and forth, but at the end of the day, I had to give number 2 to Gangstar. DJ Premier, one of the greatest producers of all time. Gangstar, one of the most, if not the most underrated MC of all time. And they put out Guru. They put out classics, Guru and DJ Premier.
One of my favorites.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to deny what they did.
Perfect DJ MC combination. I mean, that they are the greatest probably DJ MC combination
not
for sure.
Probably, absolutely.
Yeah, nobody beats them in that category.
I would put them at number 1, but it's hard to deny Outkast number 1. I mean,
it's hard to do.
Hard to do. Even if you like a group better than Outkast, just what they've done.
It's undeniable.
Yeah, they are the duo kings. So I had Outkast. Then I'll come back with some honorable mentions.
This was a tough one for me. So I have a little different than yours. And I don't know, maybe you don't even consider this one to be part of it. But number 5, I have Method Man and Redman. They were 2 great solo MCs. They still put out music today. But they came together to do a couple of albums, a couple of movies, and the chemistry was just off the chain. I think they're working on another album actually, but
Yeah, they are. How High 3.
yeah. So yeah, I mean they're just too they were undeniable. I had to put them in there.
I have an honorable mention because are they really a group?
Yes. They're really a group, but they're really more known as solo artists than they are a group. So that's kind of why I was like, I didn't even know if you would consider them. But I'll put them in there, number 5. Number 4, I had to put EPMD. The great combination, Eric and Paris, put out classics, Strictly Business, put out some great singles, headbangers, introduced the world to K Solo, Redman, Keith Murray, DOS Effects, just a great group, producers, MCs, and their influence is undeniable. I mean, it's large and far-reaching. From A Tribe Called Quest to De La Soul, I mean, everybody mentions EPMD, the production they had, and everything they did. So that's my number 4 group. Number 3, now it's starting to get a little tough, but I'm gonna go ahead and go with Eric B. and Rakim. Eric B. and Rakim, and they could have possibly been better than Gangstar, but I think because Gangstar stayed together a little longer, and did a little bit more, I would have to go with them. And I would think, and as a group, I would say that they were more influential because DJ Premier, the production hands that he's touched, is I mean, he's produced some of the greatest hip hop rappers, pop artists, R&B that the world has known. Guru with his influence in jazz and hip hop. I wouldn't say that he had more influence as an MC than Rakim, but his influence is jazz. That mesh of jazz and hip hop. I think he was one of the pioneers, if not the biggest pioneer of jazz and hip hop.
Yeah, I mean, there's other groups that did it, but what he did with the Jazzmatazz albums is on another level.
So number 2, I'm gonna have, of course, I'm gonna have to have Gangstar, one of my favorite groups of all time. Like I said, I put them over Eric B. and Rakim just because I felt like their influence with the production was a little far-reaching. They stayed together a lot longer than Eric B. and Rakim. They broke up a little bit too quickly for me, even though they had classic albums. But Gangstar, DJ Premier, the DJ producer, one of the greatest producers. I would have him at 1 or 2 best hip-hop producers of all time. And then Guru, great MC, freestyle, just a far reach. And of course, number 1 is Outkast. Outkast, the biggest selling rap group of all time. Andre 3000 lyricist, Big Boy lyricist. They produced a lot of their later work, and just number 1.
Yeah, so I had EPMD, 8 Ball and MJG, and some others.
Black Star, Dog Pound, Mobb Deep. So yeah, that's the top 5 this week. I'm sure we missed a few, but yeah.
We missed a lot. So let us know what groups that we missed. Check us out when we drop podcasts on most places you get your podcasts. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Choppin It Up with the Cleavers.
When you follow us on Facebook, we'll let you know when our next podcast, if it be next week or the following. So see you next time. Peace.
I come, it's where I'm from. I say I'm going.